Maybe you've been in the exhibition in the British Museum about the Aztec, the ruler. It's very interesting because Kukulkan, it's Quetzalcoatl. It's the same guy, but just in a different language. Basically, in Mayan, it's Kukulkan. This is just like a reference for you to understand a little bit about how different is Aztecs, Mayans, and how they influence each other. The Mayans were in the south of Mexico, but they started 1,000 years before Jesus Christ. This is the pre-classic time. Then it comes the classic from 250 to 900. Then the post-classic time, which was 900 to 1500. In this time, in about 1300, the Aztecs were the empire in the whole Mexico. Basically, the Aztecs were the empire that were ruling the whole Mexico. And this is a quite interesting thing about the cocoa seed. The cocoa seed were in such a high esteem that they used it as a currency. So basically, it was like a pound here. So I wanted to give you an example how much this worth. At the point that the Aztec Empire received yearly tribute, so that was the taxes, each load represented exactly 8,000 beans of cocoa seeds. And the buying of power of quality beans was such as 80 to 100 beans for a new tablecloth. So it was really, really well appreciated, the cocoa seeds. But it's interesting also to know that the chocolate in Mexico, it was not like we see it here, you know, because it was, as I said since the beginning, it was bitter, and mainly it was drinkable. So it was water with cocoa seeds. It was very dark, and they said that Moctezuma used to drink up to 50 cups a day of this. So he really liked it. Centuries after the Mayans discovered this cocoa seed, the Aztecs continued using it. So basically, what happened, as I said, they conquered them, and they found this chocolate. They like it so much that it becomes part of their culture. The Aztecs are more known in Europe, basically because they were the rulers. But that doesn't mean that they were the most or the only developed culture at that moment in time before the Spanish arrived. When the Spanish arrived to, when they discovered America, funny enough, tomorrow it's the anniversary, the 12th of October, when Christopher Columbus discovered America. Christopher Columbus finds some of these seeds, and he described it as a mysterious-looking almond. Then Hernán Cortés, the conquistador that arrived to Mexico and basically conquered Mexico, he said that when one drinks it, one can travel an entire day without getting tired and without needing to eat. So he was really impressed by what this powerful drink was given into the Aztecs at that moment in time. And there is actually some of the codes, some of the antique codes, where this Hernán Cortés and Moctezuma drinking chocolate, because actually it was like when you arrive to somebody's house and somebody offers you a glass of wine, the Aztecs will offer you a chocolate, all right? Then, obviously, at the end of the 16th century, the Spanish, especially Spanish, were bringing all the cocoa seeds to the old world. When it arrived to Europe, the Spanish people started to mix it with milk and with sugar, and that's how we know now the chocolate. But actually, as I said, was completely different. Okay, so as you can see, chocolate is got a very important in the Mexican cuisine. It is very, very important because, as I said, it's been 3,000 years around, and it says that it's got a lot of properties. Even they said that it gives you happiness, for example, you know, because it gives you power. I don't know if many of you have been depressed at some point and you give it chocolate and it kind of gives you a lift. In Mexico, probably one of the most popular chocolates still is what we call the champurrado, which is a chocolate with a little bit of powder. It's like corn powder, and also with, obviously, chocolate, and now with milk. But it's a drink. It's similar to the drinking chocolate that you can buy in Starbucks or coffee shop, but just a bit different. It's more thick, and it's for many Mexicans, it's breakfast. You know, you have it in the morning, so it gives you power during the day. So as well as the drinking chocolate, this is another part of our history or our culture and our traditions. It's the Day of the Dead, which is the 1st and 2nd of November. We basically worship death, or it's a celebration of life, however you want to call it. And usually the schools are made of sugar, but nowadays they do it of chocolate. I know it's a bit shocking for somebody to see a school made chocolate, you know, in a school at a school, but actually it's a kind of a nice thing. Indeed, when there's Day of the Dead time, you give to a friend one of these schools with his name on it. I know, it's quite strange, but actually it's like Valentine's Day. You give somebody a flower. In Day of the Dead, you give them a skull, usually made of sugar or made of chocolate. And what it means is that you are thinking of that person. Because in Mexico, we don't take death that serious, and it's coming from pre-Hispanic times, where we saw life like it's just a step, something like that. So anyway. It's also very important in the cuisine, in the Savory cuisine. One of the most traditional dishes, it's called mole. Mole, well, most of the people associate mole with chocolate because it's got chocolate in it. This is not a dessert. It's not even sweet. Mole comes from the Nahuatl word, mole, which means chopped. Basically, you've got a lot of ingredients, and we'll talk about it later, and with this thing, it's called molcajete. Basically, you use it to chop very fine through our